this section, we will look to build out a summary report for Tom, the director at Sakula DVD. To start with, we can look at summarizing our table customer payment total. And to do this, we can scroll to the end of our table, or we can use the shortcut key Control and down arrow. From here, you can see just outside our table, we have a number of drop-down fields which we can use to select a number of built-in functions such as sum, average, count. For now though, I will go ahead and just pull out the sum for our columns payment total, transaction count and customer count. And we can go up to our ribbon menu this time and select on sum, and this will apply the sum function across our three columns. In addition, we can also apply filters on our table by selecting on our column headers, and for example we could untick 2006 just to show 2005 data. And as we're interested in our California area, we can untick select all, type in Cal for California, and select just California. So we can see very quickly we've been able to get to a summary of our California customer district, broken down by our two store addresses from My Sakula Drive and My SQL Boulevard. From this, we potentially could send on a summary report, just briefly detailing for Tom what are the main key metrics. But to go one step further, we will produce a summary report within our Excel spreadsheet so that Tom can identify from different districts what the volumes are coming in. To do this, I will go ahead first and remove our summary information and also clear all filters across our table. Moving to the Insert menu, I can select Pivot Table, and we would like our pivot table against the full table, so this is CusPay Total, that's fine. And we'll open up our pivot table in a new worksheet. So we can go ahead and click OK. On the left here we can see our pivot table has appeared, and on the right we have our pivot table fields. From here we can start to build out our information. So to start with, I will just look at the payment total, and across our rows we can look at year and month, and I'll also bring in the store district within a filter. As well as the customer district. And from here we can select California once again, or if needs be, if we wanted to compare a number of different areas, we can click on the select multiple items. So for now I will just select on California. And we can see here our information brought back for our customers of California. In addition, I would also like to show a growth metric for month on month of how our California customers have been performing. So with the payment total, I can drag this again onto our pivot table. And you can see here we now have sum of payment total and sum of payment total 2. And under sum of payment total 2, I will go to value field settings, show value, and under the show value as, we can see there's a number of calculations that we can apply against our data. First, I will look at the difference from, and from here I can see we're presented with a number of options such as which base field would we like to apply our difference from. In this scenario, I want to look at differences from the monthly data, so I can select on payment month, and I would like to see the difference between the current month and the previous month, so I'll go ahead and select on previous. In the top, I can change the title of sum of payment total 2, and I'll refer to this as payment diff for difference. And we can see coming back the difference here between the month of June and May is a difference of $5, and from July to June is $350. So this is starting to look a lot better in terms of showing our growth values. To expand this out, I'll bring back all data, just so we have a little bit more data to work with. And in addition to showing the difference, I will also bring in payment total again. But this time I will show the percentage difference. Again, we can click on show value as. And this time we have a percentage difference from. I can go ahead and select payment month and previous. And we can see we have now a percentage difference between the given months. If I want to rename the column, I can simply just click on the field and I can change this to payment diff %. And for sum of payment total, I will just call this payment total. Note that we can't actually give a field name the same value as that from the field. So if I called this, for example, payment underscore total, the same as our field name, Microsoft Excel will report back that this field name is already in use. But there's no problem in calling our field payment space total, and that's perfectly acceptable into Excel. Next, we can see our values are within the thousands, so we might want to format these values to represent as thousands so that when Tom is reading them, he doesn't have to identify which values are within the thousands, hundreds, or millions. Giving a summary in thousands or millions will be much quicker for the business to review. So we can go ahead to our payment total, again under value field settings, but this time we can look at number format. And under number, we can use the thousands operator. And coming down to custom, I can specify another thousand separator and also the decimal precision, adding in 0.00. Now if I wanted just one decimal precision, I can remove the second. And to specify that this value is in thousands, we can go ahead and add in a value of K on the end. So that looks much more presentable now to be able to read a smaller figure in the thousands for Tom. Although the payment difference is a useful figure, my preference would be to show just the percentage difference. So in this case, I will go ahead and remove the field payment diff, which leaves us with our percentage difference. From here, we can go ahead now and insert a graph. And under the insert menu, you can see that there is a recommended charts, which Excel is reviewing our pivot table and will give us an idea of what charts is it recommending. So from here, we can see it's recommending a columnar chart. And I can go ahead and insert this into our worksheet. However, the first thing you will notice is our payment difference percentage isn't showing up. So to get our payment difference also showing on the same sheet, we want to use a combination chart. To do this, we can right click and we can select change chart type, and we can go down to the combo chart, and under combo chart you'll see that our payment difference is showing as an orange line, but the key is not of the same size. For example, on our left column here we have values in the thousands, and what we would like to show is a representation using a percentage. So to change this, we can actually set a secondary axis, and if needs be we could also change how we want the secondary axis to look. If we want it to be with points, so I'll go ahead and select on the points option there as well, and I can click OK. So that's looking much better now that we can see the value and the difference. Under the design menu, I also have the option for quick layouts, and one of my personal preferences is to use the first layout, which will add in a chart title. And for chart title, we will call this a payment summary. And we can also hide our field labels. And if needs be, we can hide all our buttons. So as you can see, we have on our left side our values presented in thousands for our payment total, and on our right side we have the percentage values, so we can quickly read off from the chart what are these given values. In addition, if we wanted to show the values on our chart, we can right click once again and add in data labels, and we can see our values come up here across our table. We could do the same for our difference. This might get a little crowded. So for now, I will keep the difference on the chart and I'll remove our payment values, and I can just click delete on our keyboard. So now we can see what is the growth against our chart. Once we're happy with our pivot table and chart, we can go ahead and right click on our pivot table and we can say hide field list. So this will free up some space for us, and I'll rename our sheet to payment summary. In addition, I also like to add in a report details page. And under our report details, this would be similar to our SQL details. We can copy, for example, some of the details from our SQL to add these in. So when somebody comes to use this report, we can give details as to what this report is detailing. And we will just say, for example, here, report to identify growth of payment details within a customer district. And if you wanted to go one step further, you might even bring back, for example, our field details. We can transpose our list down the side, call this field name, and we can give details of what our fields are here. So we could have details, for example, about our report. We might add in some additional details on how to use the report, such as if we're giving details on the payment summary tab, we might be describing what our drop-down menus are providing for us. In addition to the payment summary, I will also add in, I can move or copy this, so I'll create a copy. And rename this to payment compare, a summary. And for this table, I would like to be able to bring out a comparison of all our customer districts side by side. So to do this, I can bring up the field list. And this time I can move payment year and payment month onto the horizontal axis. And I can bring down the customer district into rows. So in this scenario, our graph is looking a little bit busy, so I'll remove the graph. And for values, I will place values above payment year and month. For now, I can also remove the payment total. And from here, I can select on grand total, and under data, I have a sort value by ascending or descending, so I'll sort descending, and this shows me all customer districts in descending order by greatest payment volume. Let's say, for example, we only want to keep our top 10 customer districts. From row labels, I can go down to value filters and I can look at top 10. And this will pick the top 10 items based on the given names. We also have the option to look at percentage and sum. And we can see here our grand total for our top 10 customer districts. So I might want to rename this to top 10 customer districts. And if needs be, we could bring in the store district to show what is the top 10 in each of the store districts, or QLD versus Alberta. But for now, I'll keep the store district out. In addition, we may also want to provide some details at the beginning of each page, just to present back to Tom what each page is showing here. So I'll go ahead and add in description, and I will say this is payment summary with month-on-month comparison, month-on-month growth values. And this is our top 10 customer districts by grand total. To summarize, there are obviously a number of ways that we can present our information back to the business. And while Tom has not provided us with any details, he has asked, for example, to provide us with the usual metrics. So in this scenario, I'm taking a best guess calculation that he'll be just looking for payment totals and differences to show growth in a given area. If this report was to be more extensive to go out among teams, then I would obviously review with the various teams in question to identify what metrics they want to show within a given report, such as what we're looking at here for our payment summary. And while we have presented our results across a number of tabs, we may want to come up with a summary tab where we're presenting all of these results in a factual table that a business can quickly scan down through to show, for example, monthly and weekly growth details and other KPIs for the business. That's all for this section on creating a summary report in Microsoft Excel.